I'm in Nelsprate at the new Big 5 Harley Davidson dealership here in Nelsprate, and as you can see, I'm joined by several other journalists, and we're on a mission to find out exactly what is Project Rushmore.
Harley always launches its new models around this time of the year, but 2013 is different. A touch more significant than the average update thanks to some engine modifications. And of course, we can't forget the influence of Project Rushmore. But more on that later. I've got a day in Mpumalanga to get to grips with Harley's new touring models, and I'm starting with the Electra Glide Ultra Limited. As the modest name suggests, this is as good as touring gets within the Harley stable, and it's limited, whatever that means. I'm pretty sure it's not so limited that you can't actually get one if you want one. If you think you detect the occasional note of sarcasm in my commentary, you're not mistaken. I've always struggled with Harley's awkward model names, and I still do. Silly names aside, the riding experience is just as pleasurable as it always was, save for an extra helping of luxury and comfort.
Only done Nelsprate up to Frascott. We're at Lisbon Falls now, so it's not a massive distance for a serious touring bike, but it reminds me of a trip I did in Europe with my wife on one of these. Now, this is obviously the 2014 version, so it is better. I don't quite know how to say this without sounding unprofessional and unbiased, but it's the best touring bike in the world. It really is. If you are into touring for what touring's about, which is enjoying the scenery, taking a passenger, not travelling too quickly, but travelling vast distances, there is no finer touring motorcycle in the world. Now, Project Rushmore has been about maintaining the heritage of the Harley Davidson brand, but also moving it forward. And as such, they've really interacted over millions of miles of riding with their customers and asked them, what do you want to see on your touring models? Well, wind protection and a bit of increased protection against buffeting has been one of the big asks. And they've got a new system here. There's a bit of a letterbox at the front. You can actually adjust it to let what they call a slipstream in, which brings air up this side of the screen and then stops the buffeting. It doesn't look like it works, but it really does. It's simple but very effective. So with comfort, what else do you need? They've made the seats bigger, or, well, actually, they've made them wider. And the speakers here, they've also been shifted out an inch extra either side. So they talk about giving it greater sound, but to be honest, it's so big fat American bottoms don't block the speakers off, and it gives you a bit more comfort. This seat as well is an option. It can actually be pumped up on an air pump, so you can set it exactly as you want. I think it's time to swap maybe to the Street Glide. That looks interesting.
One thing you do have to get used to on all the touring models, and not just the Street Glide, is the occasional screech when the footboards go down. It's a bit annoying, mainly because underneath all the chrome and gadgets, these touring bikes are well up to a brisk ride through the mountains. The Street Glide, unsurprisingly, feels better in the corners than the Electra Glide, but then it is a stripped-down racer by comparison with Harley's biggest tourer. This is Harley's best-selling model in the States, and it's not difficult to see why. Whatever you lose in touring practicality, you more than make up for in style and presence. Without the big pillion armchair and top box and a smaller front fairing, the Street Glide doubles as a cool cruiser, as well as long-distance tourer.
There's one thing you can guarantee about Harley Davidsons is that they always draw a crowd. The Electra Glide is probably the best at drawing a crowd, but the Street Glide, which is what we've just been riding, absolutely stunning piece of kit, it is still a touring motorcycle. But as you can see, more of a touring motorcycle for one, because there's none of this massive pillion passenger seat. So really, look, there. You better love your wife and your wife better love you if you want to use this on long distances. Now, if we hark back to this Project Rushmore stuff, it's all about interacting with their customers, and of course, what did the customers ask for but a little bit more oomph? Well, Harley listened, gave them about 4-5 Newton meters, about 4 or 5 horsepower as well. Not immediately noticeable unless you ride them back to back, but these things are plenty eager enough. It's called a twin-cam high-output engine. Now, Harley have actually gone a stage further on a couple of the other models, like the Electra Glide Classic and the Ultra. They've allied it with water cooling now around the heads, just to make it that little bit more efficient. Who'd have thought Harley Davidson with water cooling? Braking has had a bit of a revamp on some of the models, not all of them. Street Glide essentially as it always was, which is not a bad thing, but the trike, for instance, has now got 6-pot calipers at the front, But of more interest to us all is the fact that on a lot of the models, Harley-Davidson has now linked the brakes. So whether you're pulling the front lever or the rear lever, you're getting the best sort of activation of the two brakes. So it helps you in the braking, slows you down much more comfortably. From Electra Glide to Street Glide, a little bit more sporty. And from Street Glide, where can we go? Well, there's only one, the ultimate couch, the ultimate way to go touring, apart from the Ultra Glide, the Electra Glide, and that's the Road King. This really is a classy piece of kit.
Think Harley Davidson, and the chances are the average man in the street is going to conjure up something that looks like the Road King. This model has all the visual clues that make the general public think a bike is a Harley. It's big. There's lots of chrome, a tall screen, tank-mounted speedo, spotlights, leather saddlebags, and have I mentioned the chrome? This is one very shiny motorbike, quite capable of blinding multiple riding buddies at once. With decent ground clearance and a supremely comfortable riding position, the Road King perhaps offers the best compromise between the demands of touring and the demands of a rider who wants some excitement along the way.
Serge Koenigsegg, I want to say, but it's not, is it? It's Koenigsegg.
No, correct.
He's the chief technical dude at Harley-Davidson here in South Africa. And to be honest, one of the biggest improvements for Harley-Davidson on these touring models has been what they call an infotainment centre. That's a made-up word, isn't it, Serge? Obviously, it's mixing two elements. What's going on?
Yes, first of all, it says we have information on the screen. So we used to have 6 gauges, and now we only have 4, and 2 of them are now when you push the info button, so you get information of the oil pressure and the air temperature in Celsius.
Yeah. And the entertainment, that's pretty involved, isn't it, Serge? It's not simply a matter anymore of listening to the radio. It's, what, MP3 players, iPods, you can put a lot of stuff on there.
Yes, you can connect everything like telephones via Bluetooth, or you can use the USB cable and then you connect MP3 players, iPhones, iPods. Directly, the advantage is that you keep charging your phone or your device. Instead of the Bluetooth, it drains your battery of your phone.
Well, we've got an enormous screen here. It can't be just for pretty colours. It must have a GPS unit as well.
Yes, first of all, the screen is a bit bigger also because it has touchscreen. And it has a GPS inside built-in the unit.
And what I like about the Harley-Davidson unit is there's a lot of voice commands going on, which I find... I mean, it's not just voice commands for your GPS, it's your text messages, your telephones...
Yes. You can receive text messages and then the infotainment will read the message to you.
Hello, Serge, you stupid Belgian.
You can set a kind of out of office on your phone when you're riding, like you say, I'll call you back later. You can operate it or with the joysticks or by voice control or by touchscreen, whatever suits you, in which, if you're riding, probably you will use the voicemail and the joysticks, and if you're standing at a traffic light, you can use the touchscreen.
It's been a day full of touring Harley-Davidsons. We've had the Electra Glide, we've had the Street Glide, both very modern-looking bikes. Take a look at this. I mean, this is Harley-Davidson, isn't it? Lots of chrome, very simple-looking, and a nice and relaxed ride. This Project Rushmore thing seems very clever, but very simple. It's basically Harley-Davidson talking to its customers and vice versa, and Harley actually listening. It's not rocket science, is it, Michael? Is that what's going on?
That's exactly what it is, Matt. This has basically been a 4-year customer-led journey. So all of the advancements that you've seen over the last 2 days is directly from the customers in control, feel, style, and infotainment.
So those 4 main areas are what the customers were obviously focusing on.
Absolutely.
Is that something we're going to see then applied to the rest of your model range in the future?
Well, for the time being, it's primarily for our 2014 touring models, Project Rushmore. But certainly in terms of the advancements that you've seen on these bikes, those are probably going to roll out onto the other models as well over the next couple of years. It is all about continuous improvement, yeah.
And continuous improvement, I tell you what, this is the most significant set of upgrades that I've ever seen to Harley-Davidson, really. Really moving forward in a big way. I recommend you go out, don't believe what I've said, go out and get a test ride, because the one nice thing about Harley-Davidson in South Africa, you can go into any dealership, they will have a bike there for you. So like I said, don't take my word for it. Get your bum in the seat of a Harley.